Hello and welcome to Perspectives. The question is Pakistan, Pakistan's stability, Pakistan's foreign relations, Pakistan's governance. This question comes up on media just about every night. And in particular, I would say it's a cyclic question which keeps coming up every few months, weeks, or days. To my utter dismay and my disappointment is that these topics, these discussions have happened repeatedly. In my career in media over the past 8-9 odd years, I think I've done these shows at least 100 times. And the irony is that you can take any of my shows from maybe 5 years ago and air them tonight, and you will not be able to tell if it's a fresh show or if it's 6 years or 5 years old, which is very saddening and disturbing. While we were waiting to go on air, my friend who's sitting here with me, I'll introduce in a second, asked me if I see any hope. And I said, no, I don't see any hope. The reason is exactly this. The people who could make a difference, who should make a difference, almost seem to be not interested in making a difference. And it's just somehow killing time and passing time and getting through life. And we have generations, at least more than one, who've been waiting for something to happen. But nothing ever happens. I'd like to introduce my guests. Some have arrived late, so we would probably be doing a bit of shuffling here. But on my right, my friend, senior journalist, Mr. Agha Masood, who was actually the one who was having this conversation with me. Agha, thank you very much for being here. On my left, Ms. Sumeta Afzal, MPA from Muttahida Qawmi Movement, is here with me. Thank you, Sumeta, for taking time out. On telephone with us, representing Pakistan People's Party, is Mr. Taj Haider. Taj, assalamu alaikum. I hope you can hear me. And thank you for joining us. From Islamabad, joining us is Mr. Nehal Hashmi, who is representing Pakistan Muslim League N. He will be joining us in just a moment. I think he's there. We'll connect with him. And another friend of mine representing Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Ms. Naz Baloch, has just arrived, but she's not seated yet. We'll wire up in a moment. While we do that, let's start a conversation with Mr. Al-Sab. Al-Sab, basic question. Operations make no difference. Elections make no difference. Governments come and go. Dictators come and go. The state of the nation only worsens at most, or at least stays the same. So what?
If we look superficially, you may be right, but I tell you that for the last 65 years, every government, has tried to put his might, and we have seen the development, in different spheres. For example, in science and technology, and for example, in education system. Maybe that we have given less amount to education, but we have seen some development in Pakistan. I'm not so disappointed. Yes, in the past, say 10 years onward, we have seen the bad governance. And the bad governance was basically responsible of the disappointments and the disillusionment which we have been referring.
Sure.
But even then, with all disappointments, I think the people of Pakistan and Pakistan itself is a very resilient country.
No doubt.
And they are actually, they know what is the roadmap. Even if the bad governance was there for let's say, especially for the last 5 years, but people had the roadmap. Sure. And it was the duty of the government in power actually to treat upon that roadmap, but they could not. So now your question that Pakistani society, definitely you are right, caters in crisis. But who's going to actually remove or to solve this crisis?
When you talk of the roadmap, I like to put Mr. Taj Haider, because he's one of those few people, veteran politician family, senior most politician, one of the founders of Pakistan People's Party, with roadmap. Tatsab, question to you: why do operations keep failing in Pakistan? Yet another one seems to be failing for Karachi. Why can't we finally decide what we want to do with terrorism and crime in this country?
Well, you are a young man, I'm an old man. So frustration is a luxury which the young can enjoy. I can't afford to be frustrated. More so because all my life I was fighting for values that I have held dear.
No doubt.
And we have traveled a long distance. When I look back on the days of Ziaul Haq, when things were so terrible that I don't want things to happen that way again. When I look at the way people have participated in the elections, then I see a very big difference. As operations are concerned, yes, there was a time when the state itself was a party and every voice was quietened through the oppressive state, through the worst methods that the state could apply. Now, of course, people are lined up, and of course, the state is some so it's lined up against terror and against criminals. Now, these people are not so many in number. What has really changed is the mindset that people want peace, people want democracy, people want their rights.
My apologies for interjecting. I, with all said and done, this particular wave of quote unquote operation in Karachi was thought that this might be the grand finale. We will sort out the law and order problems in Karachi, but it has become tainted and it is not giving us any positive results, sir.
I was part of it in 95, 96, and it was much worse then. It was much worse then. And now there is a consensus between all political parties, which is something which is basic. Now the people want peace at any cost. Now that is very, very basic, which has in itself the potential to bring about the change. Back in 95, 96, there was a very sharp political division. And of course, there were foreign elements also that were involved. There was a political philosophy we were fighting against.
In the interest of time, my apologies for interjecting. In the interest of time, what I'm commenting on is right now there was a new wave of an operation, but the very same people who were on board are not on board. And as a common citizen of this city and of this country, I'm very confused about, and I would go to Mr. Nehal Hashmi as well. Nehal sir, I hope you can hear me.
So,
yes. Okay.
When the APC was held in Karachi,
I'm very much
the Prime Minister was here for 2 days.
Yeah, right.
And we were actually the part of the deliberations,
Sure.
we were sitting there, and all the journalists, from different parts of Pakistan, they came and they said, and every political party, including the leading industrialists and the businessmen, they gave confidence to Mia Nawaz Sharif and they said, okay, there must be across the board operation in Karachi to maintain peace and eliminate those people actually who are making
Sure.
hell of.
Yes.
So I think there are certain political parties who may not agree, but they were present there and they have shown their willingness.
We had a show here that night, and I kept asking the same question.
Yes.
What do political parties have to do with law and order and crime? Crime is crime.
Why?
Has to be dealt with.
Why? It is the political party that rule Pakistan. It is the political party anywhere in the world.
Okay. Let me go to Mr. Mr. Hashmi. My question to you, once again, I see confusion in our policy towards terrorism and our policy towards cleaning up the terrorism and law and order or crime situation in Karachi. Why the division of opinion, sir?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I totally disagree with you, gentlemen. There is no confusion. We are very clear-headed that rule is rule, and we are very clear that we have to establish the right of the state. We will not spare any criminal, whosoever and what nature it is. And we are very clear that we will protect the innocent civilians and common citizens of Pakistan We will protect the business, the entrepreneurs, the market, the women, the children, the helpless. This is our duty, the common man of Pakistan. And this is also the most important article of the Constitution of Pakistan. We are not here to protect any criminal. We will do justice with them. So we are very, very clear-headed, and thanks to Almighty Allah that all political forces of Karachi, and rather you can say all political forces of Pakistan, are agreed that we don't stand with the criminals. We stand for peace. We will take into them task. So there is no confusion. If someone has creating something in his own mind, I can't do that. But we have double things here that we have to take. First of all, we have given a confidence to the common man of Pakistan. Look, the politicians are against the criminals. We are not supporting the criminals. We will not stand by with the criminals. We are here with you. We will support you. We will stand with you. And don't worry for anything. The state of it is here. The mistake was that in past, during the dictator era, all these criminals, all these outlaws, all these corrupt persons, all this corrupt system who prevail. But now we will not allow the criminals and the corruptions to prevail in the society and disrupt the systems and values of the society. And we will not allow any Parchi system, Bhatta system, extortion money, use of force against any innocent person, use of force in society. No, we will not allow.
So your point is that your resolve is firm. So it's
in terms of the Constitution.
So Mr. Hashmi, your point is that your resolve is firm and final, and you will deal with. But then the question comes of the provincial government. Sumeta, I'm going to come to you. The provincial government, and the last discussion we had, one of your colleagues from MKM was sitting here, and we saw we're not too sure. If it's a provincial matter and you cannot, don't even go into it, I'm telling you, don't even go in the direction of we were coalition partners, we don't have a stake. You have a stake in the government. So you are the provincial government. The 18th Amendment says it's your responsibility. If it's your responsibility, where do we stand in terms of Karachi? And of course, the overall policy on terrorism is not your take. But in Karachi, what's your position on the operation?
We've given very clear statements, as in the operation that firstly, I would want to thank the Prime Minister for taking, this is a very good gesture that he's done towards Karachi, and we really appreciate this. And secondly, this operation is supposed to be carried out across Karachi towards criminals, extortionists, across the board, which somehow I feel, and my party also felt, that it had diverted in a way towards MQM. But MQM has been saying that we will always support operation in Karachi or wherever it takes place to eliminate criminals. So we do not say, even if it's a political person affiliated with a political party, a criminal is a criminal, regardless of it.
You're personally very active on social media.
Yes.
And I'm sure you noticed the opinions of the common people. Whenever there is an operation, one of the political stakeholders of Karachi says it's an operation against us. One of them, not just you, everybody does. As a citizen of the city, and PML-N being the federal government, not the provincial government, I would sort of take their side here. How do you conduct an operation if the rangers are tainted, if the police is very tainted? So who? Is it me and Mr. Agha who will take a gun and...
I think we've said that before, that the rangers have been in the city for almost over 15 years.
Right.
So you're right, they are more than that.
No, they're tainted in your eyes, not tainted in the citizens' eyes.
No, I'm just saying that you said in the citizens'
in your eyes, not the
But if you were to carry out an unbiased, let it be the police, give them more powers, give the rangers more powers, whoever it is who is going to conduct the operation, it should be an unbiased operation against criminals, not to harass or malign a party.
How do you divide the line? I need to go to Naz in a second. But just a quick comment. How do you define the line?
I think what actually is missing in the conversation is that when the Prime Minister was talking to journalists, he was talking to the entrepreneurs and industrialists, he was very clear that we are going to have a review committee. And a review committee...
The monitoring committee is still
and the legal committee. Actually, that committee is missing, and that was the reason why Sumeta actually has been telling that it seems a part of the operation actually has been diverted against.
See, you arrest people when you don't even have an FIR. You arrest people
Sumeta, the difficulty and actually lies, with the review committee, because it was the duty of the Ali Shah Saab and plus other stakeholders in the city of Karachi and Sindh that they must pass the monitoring committee. That committee is very essential. If
and I think that would have been an unbiased approach. And everybody would have been very happy and nobody would have been raising their...
But in democracy, for example, if somebody is against the operation, doesn't mean anything. But one should take it as a democratic agitation. It's a part of the democracy that people are against. But
we welcomed the operation. We said start from our areas. The operation started from our dominating areas.
The missing link is there should be that review committee which was mentioned by the Prime Minister. If you have the review committee, actually all that.
I'd like to introduce Naz. Thank you very much for joining. You're representing Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. My concern with all this, as a citizen of a city, of a country, is politics, understanding, mutually agreed, operation, bias. All these words do not fall in my dictionary of fight against crime. Crime is crime, and there's a fight against crime. You just go straight, whoever it is, take him out. Simple as that. So why do all these discussions come up?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Faisal, thanks for having me in your show. First of all, I would say, as we all know very well, a very beautiful thing, I must say, which really fits in today. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time.
That fails here. You can fool this nation all the time.
Yeah. So you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. Well, unfortunately, the political parties of Pakistan have been fooling, I must say, the people of Pakistan in different areas. As you know, Karachi has been the city of light, the city which we call the city of light, the economic power of Pakistan, having the port of, the best harbors in the world.
Sure.
An amazing city. Today, bleeding. Who is responsible for all this? In the beginning, we must learn to accept our mistakes. There is the lack of acceptance. People want to enjoy the mandate, people want to enjoy the power, but people have not learned to accept the mistakes they've committed towards the nation. Today we are bleeding. Today 14 people are dying every day in the city. And the impression that we've left to the world is that today Karachi is the most dangerous city.
Well, I resent that statement, by the way, but it is
indeed, because you have all the sort of crimes. You see extortionists over here. You can find the bhata mafias over here. You can find all these things over here. You can find target killing over here. You're not going to find it in a peaceful state. You're not going to find it in a peaceful city. Now the issue is that where do we lack? The point is that we must
my question
have.
Is where does politics fit into?
That's where I'm coming towards. That's where I'm coming towards, Faisal. It means that we lack in administration. We lack in reforms. Where do we stand when we have weak investigation reports? If you are not even capable of investigating and the crime scene is left just, in the mercy of the person who is already, if a body is kept on a street, nobody even dares to come close to the body. After 15 minutes of the scene, the person, a cop comes and just orders somebody to transfer it towards an AD morgue. So if this is not going to change, if you're not going to have effective measures, but you have to do that. Somebody has to do it. And who is going to take the ownership? Because everybody wants to enjoy power. Everybody wants to enjoy the CM shape, the governorship, the power politics. Why don't we learn to own the city in the proper way? Why don't we learn to understand our responsibilities towards the nation? We are answerable to ourselves at the end of the day.
Nehal.
That is where people want to see the change. People want to see a change in administration. Likewise, we have reforms in KPK. We've introduced monitoring reforms in KPK. You can monitor all the police stations. At least move a step ahead.
Well, we need to see that. Well, fine, okay. Maybe KPK will be an example, but we see it. Mr. Hashmi has a phenomenal. Mr. Hashmi has a fantastic smile on his face. I'd like to I'd like to hear his thoughts.
No, but
Nehal, I want to hear what's causing that smile.
No, but he endorses views of Mr. Lord. I hope so, but I don't see he does.
Faisal, I'm very glad that the way Naz has selling out the product of KPK. I suppose we are here to discuss the
it's a good example.
Karachi, the police action of Karachi. Naz was very, I don't know, very innocently she said that why we are sitting in the CM house and governor house and enjoying all this stuff. Listen, we are one. We are Pakistani. We should make a line in between the political party, political workers and criminals. Why we are engaged ourselves in nonsense discussion that who will go, who will not go, who is receiving the threat, might be there is some harassment. Look, we have a very sovereign and independent judicial system. We have a very vibrant media. So there might be a mistake or two. But rest assured that the nation stands with the political party. We are here to clean and we are here to provide and protect. In fact, while we are engaging ourselves in disagreeing with each other, we are supporting the criminals, we are supporting the outlaws, we are supporting the terrorists. We should show one thing very clearly, that we don't allow anything which is against the law. We don't allow any terrorist, we don't allow any killer, we don't allow any bhatta. What is the system, what is the model? It is the job description of law enforcing agencies, it is the job description of the planners, it is the decision maker who are sitting in the parliament, it is the captain who will decide that how this action will go ahead. And by the way, we have a very impartial umpire.
May I add something over here? Between the captains, let me add something. First of all, we are doing a mistake in all of us sitting over here, and secondly, the captain is the same. We've seen the same captain for the past 5 years. We've seen the city bleeding under the captainship of the CN.
I think Nehal is saying
so there is nothing that we expect new and
Can we listen to what Nehal is saying?
We cannot expect surprises and wonders from the same setup and the same faces. We cannot expect wonders and surprises from them.
Okay,
Nehal, I tell you one thing.
Just one second. I think Nehal, can you hear me?
But he is already speaking because
I think Nehal cannot hear me.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Nehal, can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. My point is, Naz did not say all of that, but again, the vibrancy of the media, it will not take away the law and order problems. The law and order problems will go away with the resolve, and a very strong resolve of the government. I personally don't think any political understanding or any political party needs to be on board while fighting crime. So personally, I think that is confusion for the citizen. Now the federal government sits with you after the 18th Amendment. The provincial government sits with People's Party. Mr. Heather, I would like to ask you a very direct question. If we just take today where we stand, between the captain and the selection board, the society is confused. Where do we see short-term recourse, at least for Karachi? Sir, Mr. Heather.
The blame game is counterproductive. And I'll not blame anyone for confusing the society even further. If blames have to be put, perhaps you can also be blamed. But special, we have to find solutions and we have to move forward. And when I said blame game is counterproductive, what I really meant was that it destroys the consensus that has been built, the political consensus that has been built by the political parties. Now one can go on boycotting and one can go on blaming, but we have to deliver and we have to move forward. And for that, we need this consensus of the political parties, which we have been lucky to achieve, plus the support of the people and also the support of the law enforcing agencies. And if these things are put together, I assure you these terrorists are only a handful. They have no ground, they have no base in the people. They are not leading any political movement. They don't have any ideology which is being supported. And I see things moving in the right direction. Now, when it will But see, that is for the astrologers to tell. We are political workers.
All right.
We have to work in a certain direction.
Naz Baloch statement, whatever he said, with the last 5 years, you have seen the Karachi was bleeding, people were being killed. And you read every column which Mr. Nehal has referred about the vibrant media. Yes, media was identifying the forces who were creating chaos in the society. But the 5 years, they didn't pay any heed. And the Karachi was bleeding, and the people were taking that. No, definitely, it's the media educate the people. Media try to give the information to the people. This is the media. Yes, media
which country in the world media identifies criminals?
It is the law enforcement agencies that should be empowered enough. That should be empowered enough
and catch them.
to call a criminal and to trial a criminal.
Law enforcement agencies are not. It's a politician. It's a political decisions.
No, all political parties should pull out of this. A criminal life Faisal said. I think every party says.
Nawaz Sharif came here. Yes. Just give me an example. We are here, as a news for last 30 years. For the first time, a prime minister came and he discussed the issues pertaining to the
country. That's phenomenal. That's fantastic. But that is not
a political decision. You cannot give a entire, burden to the law enforcement agencies. They have to carry the order of the political leadership.
No, but the law enforcement agencies should be unbiased.
No, this is another debate.
Exactly. They should call a criminal a criminal. They should fight against a criminal.
How many policemen? 10,000 policemen have been inducted. 10,000 policemen have been inducted.
And if you bid the police,
political parties have inducted the policemen.
When you bid the police stations.
Now go on very confidently. Up till now, the law enforcing agencies have shown that the former MPA of MQM was detained and taken into custody in a matter. But later on, when they investigated the matter, they very honorably discharged him from the charges. So let's see and let's watch. We cannot invite any law enforcing agencies outside Pakistan. We have to rely upon them. Yes, we can improve their working capacity. When we have given a very clear mandate to them that the political forces very clearly the policy is this, our intention is very clear. So gradually after few weeks and months and after some refresher course and training, the same law enforcing agencies will deliver you one of the best results. But let's start the thing. Now, since last 1 week, the ratio of target killing is going down, and the law and order situation is slightly better than in the month of August. So let's give them a chance. We cannot criticize all the time everyone. Then we are supporting the criminals, then we are supporting the outlaws. So we should think together for our peace-loving voters, our supporters, our workers, our children. This is the motto and mandate of present government. This is the motto and mandate of Nawaz Sharif. We want to give.
You gave that space. You gave that unfortunate space to the criminals to escape. I mean, if you start screaming for 1 week and keep telling that we are planning an operation, you are very well giving a chance for the criminals to escape.
You better go and ask the media.
That was the provincial government, not the provincial government.
Yeah, please
cannot explain everything what we are doing tomorrow and what we will do.
I expect from you.
No, but it's not the federal government's responsibility.
Whosoever is responsible for it.
We are not.
Okay, Nehal, just 1 second.
Go and we will bullshit.
Okay, Nehal.
Bulldoze someone's house.
Okay, Nehal, just 1 second.
Other thing is.
Nehal, just 1 second, please.
Karachi is a city where the polling stations get bid. If you have biddings for police stations going in a city, how do you expect to control the crime? So you cannot change crime in 2 days or 3 days time or in a week time just by coming and having an APC and all is like finished with a magic wand.
I'm sorry, but you can't accuse them. That's what the federal government can do.
That's what I'm saying. It's very good. It is very good.
And they've done a great job with that. But that's all they can do.
It is indeed very good and very kind of the Prime Minister to come and give a wake-up call to them. And at least he came up and he Yes, and at least the realization factor that we found out a bit, that is very appreciable, Mr. Nehal. I'm really appreciating that. But as a matter of fact,
I tell you one thing, the other side of the question you must also portray. The government has taken, according to 18th Amendment, the provincial government is responsible for law and order. Yeah. Now they have taken some very good decisions. For example, they have changed the police people. They have actually given extra power to the rangers, and that powers actually that will yield very good results. And those thanas which you are referring, they were sold, they were bid for that. Now those SHOs have been transferred. I think this point should be given to the provincial government has taken very good results.
Very good, but we must not forget that again, power politics is something that
we should appreciate and we should support them.
We will support it. We will support it. We will support it once we see peace prevailing in the city. Just by sweet words, we cannot, you cannot address the issue just by coming and having some sweet words and some sugar-coated words. You cannot sell that.
Why should we argue with Mr. Taj here that not Mr. Hashmi?
I'm not arguing
It's getting less. Please, Sumeta.
Mr. Taj is very quiet.
Can I take Sumeta, please?
And I hold accountable the provincial government for that.
We'll take Mr. Taj Haider's comments now. Sumeta, please.
Nehal Hashmi Saab, we completely support you in the federal the government that has taken this operation in Karachi.
Thank you.
We completely support you. Being part of my party, we support you, and even the province is supporting you. So, despite whatever is going on, despite what party feels and everything, we welcome the operation.
No, in fact, we are supporting you. It is your job. It is your duty. You are the captain. You have to take it.
You're right, sir. Right. Provincial government is, but we are not in the government at this time. But still, being in the opposition as well, we are supporting it. Our workers have been picked up. They've been taken up to police stations. Some of them have been released as well. So we have welcomed it. They started from our areas. We welcome it. So that's the only having the mandate of Karachi and having.
For past 12 years, we are seeing an continuous operation going on in Lyari. What is the result of that?
You missed my opening, I think, or I don't know if you heard it when I said, you can take out my show from 7 years ago and air it tonight, and you will not know if it's live or not.
And I don't think it's exactly the same time anymore. If they've taken a decision, it should be on.
I fully agree with that.
And let's see in the next couple of months or next couple of days. What is the action?
I'm sorry, Tatsab's line has dropped. I want to ask him this because he said earlier that we don't know how long it will take. But there has to be a plan of action.
While talking to the media same day, the same day when the cabinet meeting was held, then he was talking to the media. We were sitting there. He said it will take a year, at least a year, but it should be on sustainable basis. For example, if the operation is not on sustainable basis and it's, for example, for 3 months, 4 months, again, then there is a lukewarm support to the operation. The concept,
there should be action.
The concept will die. So, the concept will die. For example, if after 4 months, again there is a lethargic. And the people, they
need to keep up with it. The law enforcing
So what I fully agree with the Chaudhary Disa Saab that it will take a year or more, but it will be on sustainable basis because we have to see that all these criminals actually, whether when Naz Baloch has said they have, the guns on other provinces, they are taking some, for example, they were apprehended from Murree, they were apprehended from Lahore. So actually, this shows that if a sustainable operation is being conducted impartially, as you said, I think it will yield better results. I'm very optimistic. I am
optimistic, and I hope it happens the way as we are speaking about.
We must learn that people come, people go. What exists is a system. Yeah. We must give a fruitful system. I mean,
system? Are we getting here?
I really wish that a time comes and we start discussing the good things and in a very
And the system has to
actually
has been always the criminal. Now the criminals have flown away somewhere. And they're not even in Karachi.
The thing is, again, I would come up to that point that please, for the love of God, for the sake of God, come ahead.
Nehal, I want one comment from you.
From the federal government.
Nehal, I like a comment from you. What I am hoping to see in this tenure.
This time we will not give up. We will not give up to establish the writ of the state and rule of law. Rest assured. And one thing very clear, that we will not do anything which is against the law, we will not do injustice with anyone, and we are not taking action against any law-abiding citizen or any political force
Nehal,
or political party.
Agha, it's a request.
Against
as promised by the federal government, by the Prime Minister.
Sitting journalist.
Sitting journalist is also asserting it.
Witnessing
that there was a monitoring committee that had to be formed for this operation which is being conducted. So we would, I think everyone here.
What's the status on the committees to control the operation now?
And why the committees are sent, Mr. Nehal Hashmi the Great?
That should be formed immediately.
Where is that committee, Mr. Nehal Hashmi? The committee which you promised.
Most probably, it is the duty of the captain, as per the requirement and environment. It is his prerogative to choose either Mr. Masood or Mr. Faisal Qureshi or you or Naz Baloch, any one of us, or any lawyer or any committee. But it is not a matter of bone of contention. The bone of contention is to clean up with the criminals.
All right. Last closing comments.
And criminals is supported by political parties who are part and participants of the government and who are there sitting in the assemblies. How do you formulate a strategy to do something that is fair?
For God's sake, Naz, for God's sake, Naz, now you are also in the government in KPK.
Why do you just try to give an impression that always I'm talking of the federal government? Hashmi Saab, this time I'm really speaking about the provincial government. So, let me say, there is a word that exists in the English dictionary called merit. Until and unless we do not have merit over here, nothing is going to change. All these will just remain as like dialogues and words and all these things. Until and unless we don't see merit in the state, we're not going to see any change. The faces are the same. The captain is the same. The same old captain sailing the ship.
Between the team selecting the captain, Pakistan cricket is in a bad shape, but let's hope Karachi does better.
Exactly. Let's hope Karachi does better and this operation or whatever this action is gets rid of the criminals. I don't know where the criminals are gone, because obviously no criminal is going to stay home after knowing that the operation is being conducted.
So much publicity.
After so much publicity. But anyways, I'm very hopeful and thankful that people have showed so much interest in Karachi. MQM is always...
People don't have a choice but to show interest in Karachi.
Obviously, because Karachi is such an area where everybody's interest is. But MQM has never supported criminals, neither will it do. And we are completely...
and I think it's, sorry to cut you off, I think it's high time that the common citizen should come up and stand up against these kind of violence and stop giving bhattas, stop giving the ransom amount to these kind of people. And I mean, they should come up. Until
and that again, Naz,
always, but unfortunately,
that will need reforms by police as well and as the law enforcing agencies. So people have that awareness and people have...
Actually, what happened, when I say about the review committee, why my intention is very clear. You know, it was decided that the people from different walks of life, they will be drawn in that review committee and they will sit, and in case if there is some injustice being done to certain political party, as you mentioned, and they said to that review committee, which comprises even of journalists, the industrialists and the social activists, all these will comprise in the politicians. But you know what, I'm again and again through Mr. Faisal, I'm emphasizing, if that committee is formed immediately, I think that some grievances, which have been propounded, that will be eliminated. And plus, you can discuss that thing in a core committee, that these are differences. Innocent people are being arrested; they are not being produced before the court. So these are the facts actually, which I maintain that we are not going to go for blaming that the captain actually is incompetent to deliver. But I say that core committee that will be responsible and that will really
oversee this.
Yes, oversee.
Thank you very much, all of you, for taking time out. I would request all of you to pray. As in Urdu movies, I can't translate in English. They say, "Ab dawa ki nahi, dua ki zarurat." But let's hope there is medicine and not just prayer. And let's hope those stakeholders who are responsible will provide the medicine. Until next time, good night.